I sat at my dining room table for 5 hours that evening, watching the prime rib I'd spent $180 on turn from medium rare to gray. The roasted potatoes grow cold and hard. The Caesar salad wilt into a sad pile of brown leaves. The candles I'd lit at 6 p.m. had burned down to puddles of wax by the time I finally stood up at 11, my 70th birthday, and exactly 2 years since Sarah died. I'd spent 2 days preparing this meal. I'd made Marcus's favorite, the herb-crusted prime rib he used to request every year. I'd made Jason's garlic roasted potatoes, the ones he'd eat straight from the pan as a teenager. I'd even opened that bottle of Caymus Cabernet they'd given me last Christmas, still in its wooden box. Both of them had confirmed. Marcus texted me 3 weeks ago. "Wouldn't miss it, Dad. Kelly and I will be there at 6. Jason called. "Of course, Pop. It's your 70th. And I know this week is hard without Mom. We'll be there." I believed them. At 6:20, I sent a group text. "Dinner's ready whenever you are. Drive safe." At 6:45, I called Marcus. It went to voicemail. At 7:15, I tried Jason. He picked up. "Hey, Dad. I'm in the middle of something. Can I call you back?" He never did. At 8, I texted again. "Everything okay?" Getting worried. At 8:30, I texted Ben. "My grandson. Marcus's son. Have you heard from your dad? He was supposed to be here hours ago." Ben replied immediately. "Grandpa, check Dad's Facebook. I don't use Facebook much." Ben set up my account after Sarah died so I could see his college photos from Northwestern. But that night, I logged in with shaking hands, not sure what I was looking for. That's when I saw it. Posted 45 minutes ago. A photo of Marcus and Jason, both in suits, holding champagne glasses, standing in what looked like a hotel conference room. Behind them, a banner. Chicago Luxury Real Estate Investment Summit. The caption read, "Closing deals with my brother. Nothing like family business. When the opportunity knocks, you answer, no matter what. Number real estate life. Number brothers in business. Number Chicago real estate. Number investment opportunity. No matter what." Those 3 words burned into my brain. I stared at that photo until my vision blurred. They were 12 miles away at the Radisson Blu downtown, drinking champagne and networking while I sat alone with a table set for 4 on my 70th birthday, on the anniversary of the day my wife took her last breath. I didn't cry. I thought I would, but I didn't. Instead, I felt something cold settle in my chest, something hard and clear, like steel that's been through fire. I picked up my phone and took a picture of the table, the untouched plates, the melted candles, the expensive wine I'd poured into empty chairs. I didn't post it. I just needed proof, evidence that this really happened, that I wasn't imagining it. Then I stood up, walked to the kitchen, and started putting food away. Methodically, quietly, the way I used to draft blueprints, one line at a time. No emotion, just work. My name is Tom Harrison. I'm 70 years old. I spent 40 years as an architect in Chicago, designed 3 buildings that are still standing downtown, raised 2 sons in this house in Lincoln Park, and was married to Sarah for 47 years before pancreatic cancer took her 2 years ago. And on my 70th birthday, I learned something I'd been avoiding for a long time. People show you who they are. You just have to be willing to see it. Let me tell you how I got here. Sarah and I bought this brownstone in 1978. It needed everything. Foundation work, new plumbing, electrical, but it had good bones. We spent our weekends sanding floors and painting walls. Marcus was 3. Jason was barely walking. They grew up in this house, learned to ride bikes on this street, built a treehouse in the backyard that's still there, rotting now, but still standing. I worked long hours at the firm. Sarah managed everything else. The kids, the house, the bills, the life we built. We weren't rich. Not at first. Architects don't make doctor money or lawyer money. But we were comfortable. We took the boys camping in Wisconsin instead of flying to Europe. We had barbecues instead of country club memberships. The boys never went without. But they knew money was earned, not given. Or at least I thought they knew. Looking back, I can see when it started to shift. I made partner when Marcus was in college. Started bringing in serious money. Sarah wanted to help the boys. She was generous that way. Almost to a fault. When Marcus got into Northwestern law, we paid the full tuition. $200,000 over 3 years. When Jason wanted to start his real estate company, we gave him $100,000 seed money. When Marcus bought his first house, we covered the down payment. Another $80,000. Sarah insisted. "They're our boys," she'd say. "This is what parents do." I went along with it because I loved her, and because we could afford it. But somewhere in there, something changed. The boys stopped saying thank you. They started expecting. When Marcus needed a new car, he didn't ask. He sent me a link to a BMW and said, "Can you handle this by Friday?" When Jason's business hit a rough patch, he showed up with spreadsheets and projections, like I was a bank he was pitching, and I gave them the money. Every time. After Sarah died, it got worse. That first year, I was drowning. I'd forget to eat, forget to shower, forget what day it was. I'd find myself crying in the grocery store, in the car, in the middle of the night. The boys came to the funeral. They helped with arrangements. Marcus gave a eulogy that made people cry. Jason organized the reception. I thought, at least I have them. At least I'm not alone. But the calls got shorter. The visits got rarer. Marcus would call once every 2 weeks, but it was always quick. "Just checking in, Dad. Gotta run." Jason would stop by once a month, but he was always distracted, always looking at his phone. During the funeral, I overheard them in the hallway while people were still in the living room sharing memories of Sarah. "We need to talk to Dad about the cabin," Marcus said. The cabin, our family property in Door County, Wisconsin. Sarah and I bought it 30 years ago with money we'd saved for years. It was our sanctuary, our place to escape. "The market's insane right now," Jason replied. "That property's worth at least $800,000, maybe $1 million. We should convince him to sell it, or at least put it in our names for estate planning. Save on taxes. He's not going to want to sell it. Too many memories. Then we frame it differently. Tell him it's too much for him to maintain. He shouldn't be making that drive at his age. It's practical." I stood there, holding a tray of coffee cups, listening to my sons plan my life around my wife's casket. I didn't say anything. I told myself they were just being practical. They were trying to help, but they never asked what I wanted. Over the next year and a half, there were other things. Small things that I noticed but didn't want to add up. Money disappeared from the account Sarah and I shared, the one I'd forgotten to change after she died. When I asked Marcus about it, he said, "Mom told me I could use that for the timeshare payments. You said it was fine." I didn't remember saying that, but I'd been so foggy after Sarah died. Maybe I had. Jason borrowed my truck to move some furniture and kept it for 2 months. When I needed it back, he acted annoyed, like I was inconveniencing him. They both stopped showing up to Sunday dinners. Too busy. Too much going on. They'd make it next week. Next week never came. The only one who kept showing up was Ben, Marcus's son from his first marriage, 19 years old, studying architecture at Northwestern like I did. He'd come over every Saturday afternoon, sit with me in the workshop, help me build furniture, ask about Sarah, about my buildings, about life. "Grandpa," he said one Saturday last March, "are you doing okay? Like, really okay?" "I'm managing, kiddo." "Why do you ask?" "I don't know. You seem lonely, and Dad doesn't talk about you much anymore. He and Kelly are always busy with client dinners and stuff. Your dad's got a lot on his plate." "Yeah, but..." He paused, choosing his words carefully. "Do you ever feel like people only call when they need something?" That question hit me harder than it should have. It was like he'd reached into my chest and pulled out the thing I'd been trying not to look at. "Sometimes," I admitted. "Me too," he said quietly. Dad missed my acceptance to the graduate program. Said he'd be there when I found out, but he was showing a property. Sent flowers after. I took his hand. This kid, this thoughtful, present kid, was learning the same lesson his father had learned. That love could be replaced with gestures. That presence could be bought. Your accomplishments matter, I told him. You matter. Don't forget that. You matter too, Grandpa. 3 weeks before my birthday, I found something. I was cleaning out Sarah's closet, finally going through her things. I'd been avoiding it for 2 years, but it was time. In a box labeled Tom on the top shelf, under old photos and letters, I found an envelope. My name on the front in Sarah's handwriting. Open on your 70th birthday. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a letter dated 1 week before she died. My dearest Tom, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and you've made it to 70. I'm so proud of you. But I need to tell you something I couldn't say when I was alive. I was too weak, too tired, too scared to rock the boat. I see what the boys are doing. Marcus calls when his business needs capital. Jason visits when he needs Dad's truck or Dad's connections or Dad's money. They love us, but they love what we provide more. The cabin? That's their retirement plan. Your life insurance? That's their inheritance countdown. I heard them talking at Thanksgiving. They were in the garage, didn't know I was in the laundry room. Jason said, "Another few years and the old man will probably sell the brownstone too. That's gotta be worth $2 million now." Marcus laughed. "We just have to be patient." Tom, it broke my heart, but I didn't have the strength to fight it. You do. Don't let them turn you into a bank with my name on it. Ben is different. He shows up. He asks how you are. He sits with you in your grief. He's the only one who sees you, not your wallet. Leave everything to Ben. He deserves it. You deserve peace. You deserve to be loved for who you are, not what you have. I love you forever. Even in death, I'm with you. Be brave. Be free. Sarah. I read that letter 5 times. Sarah had known. She'd seen it, and she'd been carrying this weight alone, not wanting to burden me while she was dying. I sat on our bedroom floor for an hour, holding that letter, feeling something crack open inside me. That's when I decided to do something for my birthday. A test, maybe, or a hope. I wanted to believe that if I created the opportunity, they'd show up. That if I made their favorite foods, set a beautiful table, reminded them it was my 70th and the anniversary of their mother's death, they'd remember that I existed beyond my bank account. I wanted to be wrong about what I was starting to see, but I wasn't wrong. The morning after my birthday, I woke up to a text from Marcus at 7 a.m. "Sorry we missed dinner, Dad. Summit ran late, and there were investors we couldn't leave. Let's grab lunch this week." That was it. No happy birthday. No acknowledgement of the date, of what today meant, of the fact that 2 years ago his mother died and he'd promised to be there. Just let's grab lunch. An empty promise I'd heard 100 times. Jason didn't text until noon. "Dad, my bad about last night. Got caught up. You understand. Business opportunities don't wait. We'll make it up to you. We'll make it up to you." With what? Another missed Sunday dinner? Another borrowed truck? Another request for money? I got out of bed, made coffee, and sat in the backyard. It was early September, that perfect Chicago weather when summer's heat breaks and fall whispers in. The treehouse the boys built was falling apart. The garden Sarah loved was overgrown. This house, this beautiful house that we built together, what would happen if I died tomorrow? Marcus and Jason would show up for the funeral. They'd cry, they'd look sad, and then they'd start dividing things up. The brownstone, the cabin, the retirement accounts, the life insurance policy. They'd sell everything Sarah and I built, split the money, and move on. And I'd be gone. Just a memory. Just an inheritance. That's when I heard Sarah's voice, as clear as if she were sitting beside me, reading from that letter. "Be brave. Be free." I picked up my phone and called my friend Bill. We'd worked together at the firm for 30 years. Retired the same year. He answered immediately. "Tom, how was your birthday dinner?" I told him everything. There was a long silence. Then, "Those ungrateful little shits." I almost laughed. Bill was usually more diplomatic. "What are you going to do?" he asked. "I don't know yet, but something. You want to grab a beer? I'll come over. Tomorrow. I need to think today." After I hung up, I went inside and started pulling files. The cabin deed, bank statements, life insurance documents, retirement accounts. The numbers were bigger than I'd thought about in a while. The brownstone was worth at least $2.2 million in today's market. The cabin, $950,000. I had $400,000 in retirement savings. Sarah's life insurance had been $300,000. The firm's pension still paid out $6,000 a month. I wasn't rich, but I was comfortable. Very comfortable. And I'd been living like I was still stretching an architect's salary. That afternoon, I made a list. Not a to-do list. A truth list. Truth. My sons do not call unless they need something. Truth. They missed my 70th birthday and their mother's death anniversary for a real estate summit. Truth. They have been planning to inherit my assets for years. Truth. Sarah saw this before she died, and it broke her heart. Truth. I have been setting myself on fire to keep them warm. Truth. I am 70 years old and still waiting for them to love me the way I love them. Truth. They won't. And that's not my fault. I stared at that list for a long time. Then I added one more line. Truth. I deserve better. The next day, Bill came over. We sat in the backyard with beers and he listened while I talked through everything. You know what you should do? He said. Sell the cabin. Take a trip. Do something for yourself for once. They'd never forgive me. So what? They're not even showing up now. What would you be losing? That question stayed with me. Ben came over that Saturday like always. He took one look at me and said, "What happened?" I told him about the birthday dinner, about his dad and uncle at the summit. His face fell. "Grandpa, I didn't know. Dad told me he was meeting clients. He didn't say it was your birthday." "It's okay, kiddo." "It's not okay." He looked angry. "He does this. Says one thing, does another. And Uncle Jason's the same way. They're always talking about family values, but they don't actually show up. That's very perceptive. I'm 19, not blind." He paused. "Are you going to do something about it?" "Like what?" "I don't know. But Grandpa, you're the toughest person I know. You survived losing Grandma. You built half of downtown Chicago. You don't deserve to be treated like this." Tough. He thought I was tough. I didn't feel tough. I felt old, sad, angry, confused. But maybe toughness wasn't about feeling tough. Maybe it was about acting anyway. That week, I made 3 phone calls. First, I called a real estate agent. Not one of Jason's contacts. Someone independent. "I'm thinking about selling my cabin in Door County." She was professional, efficient. We set up a walkthrough for the following weekend. Second, I called my lawyer, Richard. He'd handled our estate planning after Sarah died. "Richard, I need to revise some things." "Of course, Tom. What are you thinking?" "Everything. I want to change everything." We met 2 days later. I told him what I wanted. He raised an eyebrow but didn't argue. "This is going to upset your sons," he said carefully. "I know. You're sure about this?" I thought about 5 hours at a table. I thought about Sarah's letter. I thought about Ben showing up every Saturday. "I'm sure." Third, I called the Illinois Institute of Technology, my alma mater's architecture school. "I'd like to establish a scholarship fund," I told the development director, "for students studying sustainable architecture, first-generation college students specifically." "That's very generous, Mr. Harrison. What amount were you thinking?" "Let's start with $200,000. Brief pause. That's wonderful. We'd be honored." My wife Sarah and I always believed architecture could change lives. "This feels right. Would you like the scholarship named after both of you? The Thomas and Sarah Harrison Scholarship for Future Architects." When I hung up, I felt something I hadn't felt in 2 years. Purpose. The cabin went on the market the next week. The agent was right about the market. I had 3 offers in 6 days. I accepted the highest, $1,025,000. Closing was set for 4 weeks out. That gave me time. Time to sort through what I wanted to keep from the cabin. Time to find a smaller place if I wanted one. Time to think. And time to tell my sons. I didn't tell them immediately. I wanted everything locked in first. Non-negotiable. Ben helped me clear out the cabin over 2 weekends. We went through 30 years of memories. Sarah's books, the boys' old fishing rods, photos on every wall. Are you sad? Ben asked one evening as we packed boxes. About leaving the cabin? I thought I would be, I said, surprising myself. But buildings are just buildings. Memories come with you. I don't need the structure to keep them. What about Dad and Uncle Jason? Do they know? Not yet. He looked up from the box he was labeling. They're going to lose their minds. Probably, he grinned. Grandpa, that's savage. I love it. 2 weeks before closing, Marcus called. Hey, Dad, I need to talk to you about something. My heart sank. Here it comes. What is it, son? The firm's in a tight spot. We need about $75,000 to close a deal that'll triple our revenue. It's a sure thing, but we need the capital now. I know it's a lot, but could you help us out? I'll pay you back with interest. No, Marcus. Silence. What do you mean? No. I mean no. I can't help you this time. Dad, this is my livelihood. This is my career. I just need a bridge loan. You need to figure it out yourself. I'm not a bank. I never said you were a bank. I'm asking my father for help. You're asking your father for money. There's a difference. I can't believe this. His voice was tight. After everything Mom and I did for you, after we paid for law school, after we gave you $80,000 for your house? Silence. Longer this time. That was years ago. And you think it means I owe you money for the rest of my life? Dad, come on. You're being unreasonable. You have the money. Mom would have wanted you to help. And there it was. The invocation of my dead wife. The trump card. Your mother left me a letter, I said quietly. Did you know that? A letter? She wrote it a week before she died. She asked me to read it on my 70th birthday. What did it say? She wrote about how tired she was of watching you and Jason treat me like an ATM, how you only called when you needed money, how she heard you and Jason talking about my assets like I was already dead. Silence. Dad, we never. She asked me not to let you bully me after she was gone. She told me to be free. This is insane. We're your sons. Yes, which is why this hurts. But I didn't abandon you. I'm setting boundaries. There's a difference. I hung up before he could respond. Jason called 2 days later. Dad, Marcus told me you said no to helping him. What's going on? Nothing's going on. I'm making different choices now. Different choices? Dad, we're family. Family helps each other. I agree. So, why weren't you at my 70th birthday dinner? Oh, come on. We apologized for that. You can't hold one mistake against us forever. It wasn't one mistake, Jason. It was the last in a long line of missed moments. You're being dramatic. Am I? When's the last time you came to Sunday dinner? When's the last time you called just to talk, not to ask for something? We're busy, Dad. We have lives. We have careers. So do I. And I'm choosing to live mine differently now. What does that mean? It means I sold the cabin. Dead silence. Then, you what? I sold the cabin. Closing's next week. Got $1,025,000 for it. You sold our cabin? My cabin. Sarah's and mine. That was supposed to be our inheritance. There it was, the real issue. The only issue that had ever mattered. The Illinois Institute of Technology has a new scholarship fund. I continued. $200,000 for first-generation students studying architecture. It's named after your mother and me. You gave away our money to strangers? I gave away my money to a cause I believe in. And Richard updated my will. The brownstone and all remaining assets go to Ben in a trust he can access for education and living expenses. You and Marcus will each receive $1, as required by law, to show you weren't forgotten. You can't do this. I already did. Ben? You're leaving everything to Ben? He's 19. He's the only one who acts like family. The only one who shows up. The only one who asks how I am, without following it up with a request for money. This is because we missed one dinner. No, Jason. This is because your mother died 2 years ago and you couldn't even show up on the anniversary. This is because I spent 5 hours waiting for you on my 70th birthday while you drank champagne and posted about it on Facebook. This is because Sarah wrote me a letter begging me not to let you do this to me. And I ignored her advice for 2 years. But I'm done. I'm 70 years old and I'm done giving pieces of myself to people who only see me as a wallet. You'll regret this, he said, his voice cold. I don't think I will. We're your sons. Yes. Which is why it hurts. But pain doesn't mean I'm wrong. I hung up. They both left voicemails. Marcus. Dad, this is cruel. You're punishing us for being busy. Call me. We need to fix this. Jason. You're making a huge mistake. You're going to end up alone. Is that what you want? I deleted both. The next few weeks were hard. I won't lie. There were nights I lay awake wondering if I'd gone too far, if I was being vindictive, if I should call them, apologize, make it right. But then I'd remember the cold prime rib, the melted candles, the Facebook post, Sarah's letter. Be brave. Be free. And I'd remember Ben, showing up every Saturday, asking about my life, caring about me as a person. The closing happened on a Tuesday in October. I signed the papers, watched the money transfer, handed over the keys to the cabin. That night, I sat in my backyard and felt lighter than I had in years. Bill came over that weekend. We drank beer and talked about retirement, about loss, about what it means to let go. How do you feel? He asked. Free, I said. Is that strange? I thought I'd feel guilty. Not strange at all. You've been carrying them for 40 years. It's okay to put the weight down. I started volunteering at IIT's architecture department, mentoring students, met new people, joined a woodworking group, traveled to Portland to see the buildings I'd read about but never visited. Ben came over every Saturday, just like he used to. We'd work in the shop, try new restaurants downtown, talk about his classes. Have you heard from them? He asked one evening. We were building a bookshelf for his apartment. No. You? Dad asked me not to see you anymore. Said you manipulated me and I'm too young to understand. My heart clenched. You don't have to come, Ben. I don't want to cause problems with your father. Grandpa, I'm 19, not 9. I can make my own decisions. And I choose you. You show up. You care. That's what matters. I hugged him then, right there in the workshop, and didn't care that I got sawdust on his shirt. Christmas came. No cards, no calls, nothing. I spent Christmas with Bill and his family. It was warm and chaotic, and no one asked me for money. Ben came on Christmas Eve with a gift, a framed photo of me and Sarah at the cabin, taken maybe 20 years ago, both of us laughing. I found this when we were packing, he said. I wanted you to have it. So you remember that home isn't a place. It's a feeling, I cried. Happy tears. New Year's came. I made a resolution to stop waiting for people who weren't coming. In January, I got an email from IIT. The first Harrison Scholarship had been awarded to a young woman named Maya, first generation, daughter of immigrants, studying sustainable architecture. They sent me her essay. She wrote about her parents working 3 jobs to support her dream, about wanting to design affordable housing that didn't look cheap, about believing architecture could change communities. She sounded like me at 20. They arranged a coffee meeting. Maya was bright, nervous, grateful. Mr. Harrison, she said, this scholarship, it's not just money, it's someone believing in me. It's proof that I belong here. I thought about Marcus and Jason, all the money I'd given them over the years. Had it made them better, stronger, or had it just made them dependent? Had I helped them, or hurt them? In March, I got a letter from Marcus. Dad, I've had time to think. I was angry, but I'm trying to understand. Maybe we did take you for granted. Maybe we did only call when we needed something. But we're your sons. Doesn't that count for something? Can we talk? I read it 3 times. Part of me wanted to say no, to protect myself, but another part, the part that had raised this boy, taught him to ride a bike, helped him with homework, that part wanted to try. I called him. Marcus, Dad, he sounded nervous. Thanks for calling. I got your letter. I meant what I said. I've been thinking a lot about Mom, about you, about everything. I'm listening. Could we meet? Get coffee? I'd really like to talk. I hesitated. Coffee, I finally said. But Marcus, understand something. I'm not changing my mind about the money. The cabin is sold. The scholarship is established. The will is updated. Those decisions are final. I'm not calling about money, Dad. I want my dad back. We met the next week at a cafe near my house. Marcus looked older, tired. We ordered coffee and sat in silence. I don't know where to start, he said. Start wherever you need to. I'm sorry. About your birthday. About Mom's anniversary. About all of it. You were right. We took you for granted. Why? I don't know. We just got used to it, I guess. You and Mom were always there. We didn't think about what you might need. We just assumed you'd always say yes. Your mother said yes too many times. It hurt her. She told me that in her letter. I didn't know she felt that way. She didn't want to hurt you. Neither did I. But saying yes to everything meant saying no to myself. He nodded, eyes wet. Are we too late? That depends. On what? On whether you want a relationship with me or access to what I have. I want my dad, he said, voice breaking. I want my dad back. Ben talks about you all the time, the stuff you build together, the conversations you have. And I realized, I don't know you anymore. I know the guy who writes checks, but I don't know my father. I reached across the table. I'm right here. I've always been here. Can I try? To do better? Do you want to? I do. We talked for 3 hours. It wasn't easy. There were hard truths, accusations, defenses, tears. But it was honest. What about Jason? He asked finally. I don't know. He hasn't reached out. He's stubborn. Like you. Like Sarah. I corrected. He almost smiled. What now? Now you decide. Do you want to be in my life as it is? Not as you wish it was. I'm not changing the will. I'm not giving you money. But I can give you time, conversation, Sunday dinners if you show up. I'll show up, he said. I want to try. We started slowly. Coffee once a month, then every other week. He told me about his work, his marriage, his struggles. I told him about the scholarship, the mentoring, the woodworking group. He met Ben for lunch. They talked for hours. Ben said, "You're different now," Marcus told me later. Happier. I am. I'm sorry it took losing us for you to find that. I didn't lose you. You lost me. But you're here now. That's what matters. Jason never called. Marcus said. He was still angry. Still convinced I'd lost my mind. It hurt, but I couldn't force him to see what he refused to see. In May, I attended the IIT scholarship ceremony. Maya was there, along with 3 other Harrison scholars. They all spoke about what the money meant, but more than that, what the belief meant. After the ceremony, Ben found me. Grandpa, this is incredible. Look at what you built. We built, I corrected. You helped me see that family is something you choose. Marcus was there too. He'd come without telling me. Dad, he said, I'm proud of you. Mom would be too. That night, the 3 of us had dinner. Just us. We talked about Sarah, about the cabin, about the future. I don't need you to leave me anything, Marcus said. I just need you. Good, I said. Because I already gave it all away. He laughed. Really laughed. You're a subtle bastard, you know that? I learned from the best, I said, thinking of Sarah. I'm 71 now. It's been a year since I sold the cabin. Since I chose myself. Jason and I still don't speak. Maybe we never will. That's his choice, and I've made peace with it. But I have Marcus back. Not perfectly, but genuinely. And I have Ben, who's teaching me every day that family is something you build, not something you inherit. The scholarship has helped 8 students so far. They send me letters, updates, drawings. They remind me why I became an architect, to build things that last. My life is smaller now, quieter, But it's mine. I'm not waiting anymore. Not waiting for my sons to appreciate me, to need me for the right reasons, to love me the way I deserve. I'm done setting myself on fire. And for the first time in years, I'm enough, just as I am. That night, that birthday night when I sat alone at a table for 5 hours, I thought I was learning about betrayal. But Sarah was right, like she always was. I wasn't learning about betrayal. I was learning about freedom.